All right, it's your boy Masta B here live in the MMB Radio studios for the MMB Radio Podcast, where no topic is too big or too small. We talk about them all. And on the phone lines right now, I want to welcome in a woman who is stunningly beautiful. She's fit. She's a mother. She's an entrepreneur. She's got all kinds of things going on. So many different titles. So we're going to talk to her. She's also an IFBB pro. Welcome in right now, Alissa Parker. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. How are you today? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing great.
Now, you're calling us today from where? In California, right?
Yeah, I'm in San Diego.
What's the weather like in California today?
Yeah, kind of not great today.
Really? It's not great out here either, so.
No, I mean, well, it's probably better than where you are, but it's for here, it's not the best, but that's okay. It's nice for a change.
Now, I mentioned when we were coming in, so many different titles. I mean, you wear a lot of different hats, but I guess what you're mostly known for is being an IFBB pro competitor.
Figure competitor. Right? Yeah.
So explain to those people who are not familiar with what IFBB is and how you got it started in it.
Well, the IFBB is the professional federation for bodybuilding. So there's a lot of different federations. There's different natural divisions and stuff like that. So IFBB is probably one of the more prestigious divisions. And I started competing, 10 years ago I started in 2000. Well, actually 2007 was my first show that I ever competed in, but I started training for it in 2006. So it's been 10 years of consistently training for bodybuilding, and figure is just a division within bodybuilding field. So it's a little bit less muscular than a female bodybuilder. It's still very feminine, but still a sporty athletic physique. So it just gave me something to do that, as an adult, you don't really have like competitive sports like in high school. So being a grown-up, it gave me something to work towards, and you have that feeling of being tired from training, and it's just something fun that I started doing and made into a business.
Now, you've been doing this for over 10 years, but were you growing up, you said there wasn't many competitive sports for you in school, but growing up, did you always have like a niche for fitness and like well-being and like all that kind of stuff, or when did you really just kind of say, this is something I would like to pursue?
Well, so I grew up going to the gym. My mom taught aerobics, so I was taking her classes for, in elementary school. I grew up in the gym, so I was always comfortable there. I started kind of lifting weights more, probably in middle school, even more through high school. And then I got certified to teach group fitness when I was in my early 20s, and then I had kids. My first daughter, I gained like a ridiculous amount of weight, and because I just decided to eat whatever I want. I was eating like brownies and stuff every day. So I had to get the weight off, and that's when I started competing. Once I lost all the weight, and I started getting into the gym more again, and I've hit the ground running since then. So, it was 10 years consistently that I have been training for bodybuilding, but I've always been into fitness.
Now, when you say bodybuilding and training, if somebody were to listen right now and say they are, a moderate type of person, working out, don't usually do it all the time, but enough that they're in so much shape, how do they get into doing something like the IFBB?
Well, you'd start out in the NPC, which is the amateur level, and you would want to probably start getting online and start looking into it if it's something you're interested in. Find somebody who's done it before to give you advice. I do have like my posing books that are online, so if you did want to compete, it's a good idea to start really doing your research and learning what you need to do to get on stage. Find a coach to help you, because a lot of people you can save yourself a lot of time if you get some help. The first show I ever did, I kind of did it on my own, and it took me, the book that I have out is 10 years worth of experience of competing, things that I had to learn the hard way. But it's so popular right now. Everybody's kind of doing it. So if you are in a gym, you'll probably meet somebody who's been into it and go online and start doing your research. But, it's a fun thing to do, but, you don't want to get too caught up in it either, because it can become very consuming. So you just have to keep your head on straight when it comes to, getting involved in the whole competition scene. So you got to do what you love.
Now, as I have had other guests on who have, been IFBB pros and done different competitions before, I'm new to all this, so I'm very green to the whole, bodybuilding and shaping and everything. How much time does it take for you to get ready for a competition?
Well, it's, I'm not genetically like super muscular or super lean, so it's difficult for me. I have to do a lot. Like the year I got my pro card, I had so much drive. I was willing to do whatever it took, and I was working out probably 5 hours a day. So I was doing, 2 hours of weight training and 2 to 2.5 hours of cardio, and then extra weight training sessions. I mean, it was kind of crazy, at least towards the end. So ideally, you don't want to have to be put in that type of a situation. I know there's a lot of people who don't have to do that much, and not everybody's the same. So you have to find a coach who's going to work with you on an individual basis and not really give you a cookie cutter plan, because it's not the same for everyone. I work with clients, and everybody's on different stuff. I don't take on a lot of clients at once because I really need to make sure that I have everybody doing what's right for their body, and I just couldn't handle, hundreds of people. A lot of people have hundreds of clients. I couldn't do that and still give people the same one-on-one individual type of training plans or nutrition advice and stuff like that. So it is different for everyone.
So how much time, I would guess, like in a week, how often do you have to work out to feel somewhat satisfied with, feeling like regulated, feeling like you're kind of like not slipping?
Right. Well, for like right now, I'm not actively competing at the moment. I don't have any shows on the schedule. So just to maintain, for me, I work out between, some days I only do like 20, 30 minutes, and some days it's like an hour, hour and a half. But I'm probably spending maybe like 5 to 6 hours a week, probably 7 hours a week working out right now. And I feel like that's a good balance for me. I'm not doing tons and tons of cardio. I'm pretty much enjoying my workouts. I'm able to maintain my weight. I'm in control of my diet, but I'm still able to eat a little bit more, and I have a flexible approach to my diet, so I feel like I can control the macronutrients, but I have so much flexibility in what I get to eat, so it becomes enjoyable. And right now I feel like I have achieved this balance. I'm good. I can eat sort of how I want to, and I'm working out more for fun. I'm not killing myself in the gym, so everybody's different, but basically, if you're just trying to be fit and not necessarily compete, you want to do what you enjoy. If you hate going into the gym every day, then find something else active that you like to do. I don't want people to think that they have to do a certain thing, and if you hate it, you're not going to stick to it. And the most important thing is consistency. And I've listened to some of your other podcasts, and I heard somebody else say it too, and it's true. You just have to find something that works for you that you can do for the rest of your life. And that's with regard to diet and training.
Well, first, let me say thank you for listening to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Your check will be in the mail for that. But one of the things I also want to note is, like a lot of people that you're saying, they're not doing it to compete. They just want to get in shape.
Yeah.
And then people, we talked a little bit off of air, and I said a lot of people, they tend to see someone like you, and they feel almost deflated.
Right.
Not, that's not a diss to you, but they look at you and say, yeah, right, I can never get to that person's level. How would you recommend people staying, optimistic and staying confident in themselves that they can, eventually get to that point? Is it a matter of just making smaller goals, or, what kind of motivation would you have for people who are just, feel intimidated by the whole aspect of trying to look a certain way?
I'm really glad you brought this up, because I feel like even me within the fitness industry, I see other people's photos and I'm like, gosh, I'll never get there, and it is. It's kind of discouraging at times. So just on a personal level, I really am trying to reach out, and I've written a cookbook and lifestyle kind of guide for flexible eating, and I talk a lot about this in the beginning of the book, and that I have struggled. I'm a real person. I may be within the fitness industry, and I think a lot of these people that are in the fitness industry have these same feelings that I do, but they don't really talk about it. So when you're posting all these pictures and you're like, I'm feeling awesome, I'm looking great, but you're really struggling on the inside, and nobody sees that. So you paint this picture that's not really real. And, people then feel like, oh, I can't live up to that, and it can be depressing. I think the most important thing is to find something that makes you happy. If looking at social media is making you depressed, then stop looking at it, because I think that's a problem. But people that are trying to achieve a certain goal, you have to put things into perspective. People that are online as fitness professionals or whatever on, Instagram or whatever, that's their job. Other people have day jobs and other important goals than just trying to look the best they can. It's kind of a vain goal to have, is just, looking as good as you can. But if you can focus your goals onto being healthy, being happy, and, eating to be healthy rather than trying to get down to a certain size or have a certain amount of muscle, I think you'd end up being happier. Even goals in the gym that are more performance-based versus, physique-driven. So I think that redirecting your goals is important.
Now, you wrote a couple books. The first one you wrote was about doing, figure posing, correct?
Yeah, I do a lot of posing coaching locally here and some online stuff. So I had so much information, and I just needed to get it out there so that it was easily accessible for more people, and also even for my own clients. I'm like, here, have this book with you. You need to flip to the pages. This is everything you need to know in one little book. So I have it on Amazon right now. It's called The Art of Posing and Stage Presentation, and it's basically everything you need to know to get on stage. I have it for the bikini and figure division, so it's everything you need to know besides diet and training. But there's so much information. If you may bust your butt in the gym and do, everything you need to do to get on stage, but if you can't present it properly, you're not going to get anywhere. And I've seen girls backstage, and I'm like, oh, they look awesome, but then they get on stage and they don't stand right, and you really, really can't even place well. It makes such a huge difference. So I have those books out there, and then I also have, it's not out yet, but it'll be out soon. It's called Fit Starts in the Kitchen, and it's basically, I started out just as a cookbook, and I have tons and tons of recipes that I kind of started eating this way. This is, to make it work for me, because I love food. I love eating. It's my favorite thing to do. And, I had to make it so that I could still enjoy food and still do my diet and still maintain. So I calculate all the nutrition facts for every recipe. It's all on there. And then once I had all these recipes together, I was kind of like, you know what? I need to make this, give people guidance on how to incorporate this style of eating into their lifestyle. I also talk about how I struggled so that I can sort of relate to people, because, even though I'm in the fitness industry, I'm still a real person. I still had issues with body dysmorphia ever since I was a little kid, and I think a lot of fitness people have that. It's pretty common. And eating disorder, and then through competing over so many years, I started, developing bad habits with binging, because I would do the whole cheat meal thing, and I was eating so perfect all week and very little. And then I would have this cheat meal that I would fantasize about all week. I would go out and eat a ridiculous amount of food and mess up my entire week's worth of dieting. So after doing that, I realized, okay, I need to make a change, and I started incorporating more of a flexible style of eating into my life, and it made such a huge difference in able to find balance and happiness and being able to go out to eat more often and be with my family. I have a husband and 2 kids, and it just became really difficult to be eating on this, really strict food plan all the time, and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that, and it can be really hard on a family or even, a couple in any sense, to have such a strict schedule all the time. So, this just made it so much easier. So the book is all these healthy recipes with a lot of information on how to go about incorporating a diet, how to figure out what your macronutrients should be if you're just trying to start out and you want to figure out how much you should be eating every day, whether you want to lose weight, maintain weight, or gain muscle. So there's a lot of tips in there for that. And that should be out pretty soon. I'll send you some copies so you can do a giveaway or something when it's done.
That's awesome. And then the good thing about the book is, because a lot of people can feel like a prisoner almost in doing the fitness thing. A lot of people have told me that, oh, I want to do it, but I hate restraints, and I hate, feeling, like ultimately, I feel like what you want to get out of this and doing fitness and being healthy is being happy. And like you said,
happy and healthy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't if you're doing things that are making you feel like you're a prisoner and you can't enjoy life, then what's the point of doing it? So it's really cool that you have a book out there that says, hey, this is what you can do, and not feel like I hate my life because I have to eat, only this and this only.
Right, and that's not even healthy because you're really, you're eliminating so many foods and you're eating the same things all the time that you end up, really, you're not getting all the micronutrients, all the vitamins and everything from eating a variety of foods. So, I really want people, I try to really relate to people, and I screw up all the time. I always mess up on my diet. I do things like that, and everybody does. You're human, It's the problem is, people will screw up on the diet, and then they go, well, screw it. I'm just going to eat whatever now. You have to. That's why the flexible dieting is so good, because you're like, you know what? I just ate too much here. I'm just going to make up for it over here, and it's not a big deal, and you don't feel like you're guilty, and you can just move on. So it just makes it so much easier. So I just want to share all the information, and I have a lot of clients who were doing the whole food plan thing, and they have a really hard time switching over to a flexible thing. They're like, wait, can I have this? Can I have that? Yes, you can have anything. Anything you're craving, you can have it. You just have to fit it in, which just makes it really nice. Or if you go out of town, you don't have to throw your whole diet out the window. You can just make it work. So it's something that people, once you get a handle on it, you can do it forever, and it's not hard. I don't feel like I'm on a diet ever anymore.
Well, since I have you on the phone lines, here's something that I know personally I've always wanted to know the answer to, and hopefully you can help shine some light on it. But a lot of people are doing this water challenge. They drink a lot of water in a day, and they drink 8 glasses of water, or they're drinking a gallon of water, and I see people on Instagram marking off on a gallon of water with a marker how much they've drank and what time that they got to that point. How much water should someone be drinking in a day, and what is considered healthy as far as drinking too much water or not enough water?
You want to drink enough so that you're hydrated. If you're feeling like you're thirsty, then you're already dehydrated. So, I'll sometimes buy just a gallon jugs because I'm home a lot. I'm in and out of the house, so I'll drink out of glasses, and I'm just, to see how much I'm actually drinking. And I do probably drink close to a gallon a day, but I also work out a lot too, so I'm sweating a lot. Probably like half a gallon is appropriate for most people.
See, now I feel like when I'm doing that, I just want to go to the bathroom like every 5 minutes.
Right. Well, that's why I say you should practice your posing. Because you're in there every 15 minutes.
Now, is that something is that healthy to be going to the bathroom so much? I mean, I know that means you're hydrated, but is that really helping the process, drinking that much water to the point where you just have to go to the bathroom?
What happens is your liver and your kidneys are your filtration system, right? So your kidneys or your liver is what processes the fats and everything. So if you can keep it running smoothly and everything is functioning at its best, and the water will keep it, clean and ready to filter out all that fat that you're trying to burn off.
Okay,
so that's why
going to the bathroom is not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not, but you want to make sure that your electrolytes are on track. So a lot of people when they do their diets, they are like, okay, I'm not going to have any salt or sodium, right? But you're sweating all day, so you're flushing out any little salt that you have in your system. And then so you're just really peeing out all this water, and you're not getting hydrated because you don't have enough sodium.
Gotcha.
So you still want to make sure you have sodium in your diet. I mean, I'm sure if you're eating anything processed, you are getting it.
Now, say if you're working in an office job, and say you're not eating anything, but you're just drinking a lot of water. Is there anything that you could put in the water that would help you get some of that electrolytes, so this way you're kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone? Right.
So I love branched chain amino acids. I use Extend brand, but there's a few other ones that are good. But I add that to my water, so you're getting the branched chain amino acids, which are the building blocks of protein. So you're basically getting consistent protein so that you're not using your muscle as your energy source. So that also has some sodium, some other electrolytes in there, and then also I think it has glutamine or L-carnitine or something in there. So It helps with recovery. It helps keep you satiated. It has flavor, so it tastes good. It doesn't have any calories, and it has the amino acids, so you don't burn your muscle off.
Now, you mentioned that you're married and you have 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
What's life like at home? Does everybody kind of follow the same pattern? And what struggles do you find? Like, is the hubby saying, you know what, I really don't feel like doing this whole fitness thing. I want to just, eat ice cream, or I want to eat sweets. And, like, how do you incorporate that into your family life where they're not feeling the burden, for lack of better wording, or restrictions because of what you're doing?
Right. Yeah. The flexible diet thing made a huge difference, because once, we were able to eat the same things, that made life a lot easier. My husband is sort of a picky eater. He doesn't really like to work out very much, actually ever. And my daughters, they're picky eaters too. One's 5 years old, one's 10 years old, and they're just, they eat like little kids. So I have to make, healthier options for them. And a lot of times I do make different stuff for them than me, because I love like tons of vegetables and stuff like that. Plus I love eating a high volume food. I like my plate to be full. So I like a lot of vegetables. So sometimes I'll add extra stuff for me than I do for them. But, now that I do the flexible diet thing, I can go out to eat with them, and that just makes life a lot easier. And then I'll make healthy versions of desserts, which I have tons of that in the book. So, I can make something healthy that we can all eat together, because, I like to eat food just as much as, my kids and my husband, and they like to eat food a lot. So, it just makes it easier when you can work it all in, because I'm not going to give up all these things for the rest of my life either, and if you're doing, like, the contest diet is a little bit different, because you do get pretty low sometimes in your carbs and your fats. So, you have to be a little bit more restrictive in terms of adding, like, goodies and things into your diet. But just for maintaining for normal life, I can have a glass of wine every once in a while. I can have, desserts. I can have all those things. I just have to fit it in.
Now, to go back to the book you have on posing, without giving away too much of the book, what is a common thing for people out there who, again, are a little more advanced, who are looking to get into doing competitions? What is the one thing that you see to be a common problem when posing? What is one thing that they seem to always do wrong?
Well, you have to look confident, and you have to practice. I see so many people, I go to these competitions, and you get on, you think you're practicing enough, but you get on stage or you get to the show and you're watching these girls, and it's like they look like a deer in headlights. Like, practice, practice, practice. My biggest tip that I tell people when I'm working with them, one-to-one, and I think I probably said this in the book, but, you have to practice a little bit every day. So I always tell people, every time you go to the bathroom, get in there and just do your poses really quick in front of the mirror. Just, every day, 10 times a day, you're in there. So just go in there and do your little routine, and then you're getting in a lot of practice every day, but you're not saying, okay, I'm going to do 45 minutes today, because who has time to do that? You're always in the room in front of the mirror, and you just run through it really quickly, because if you have to look confident, it has to look natural. If you do one show, it sort of starts to click. So I always recommend, if you're going to do a show, plan to do more than one. Do like 2 back-to-back, so that way you get one show in as sort of like your trial run, and then your next show is like the one where you're really going in there competitive, so that you can, get your posing down. You've been through the experience. You also need to go to a show and see what's happening. I've had a lot of people who've never even done a show ever. They've never seen one, and then they get there and they don't really know what to expect. So I think if you do your research, if you have a coach to work with and somebody, who can help you with posing, or with, with your diet and your training and everything, then you really need to do all 3 of those things. You need to have the diet, the training, and the posing on point. Otherwise, it's so competitive now. So there's so many girls, especially bikini division is so popular. And even for the men's physique division, with the addition of those 2, men's physique and women's bikini, the whole sport has sort of blown up. So it's very popular, it's very competitive, and if you don't have all those 3 things on track, then, you're going to be, wasting your time. So it is really, really important.
So if you're going to take a couple seconds out of your day to take that, bathroom selfie in the mirror, take the extra little couple minutes there and do some of the posing, so that you are ready to go when it's time to hit the stage.
Yeah, because the biggest thing is just really practicing, and people don't put as much effort into that as they do into the other stuff.
Now, people look at you, and again, I hate to keep saying this, but they look at you and they say, wow, everything is perfect on her. But what area do you seem to always struggle with? Is it upper, lower? What area do you have to put more dedication to?
Oh, definitely my legs are the hardest part for me to it's hard for me to put muscle on them, and it's hard for me to get the fat off. So that's my biggest struggle. My legs are long. My dad's like 6'1", and we have the same inseam. So I have long legs for my body, and it's really hard, when your bones are so long, it's really hard to put the muscle on there. My upper body seems to come in pretty quickly and easily, so that I don't really struggle with. I also really enjoy upper body training, so that's probably part of the problem. But, I do train legs. I had some girl commented like, oh, maybe you should train legs. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm killing myself here. So
that's just what you love to hear, right?
Oh, I know. Well, that's the thing. I hate all that, the negativity on social media and stuff like that. Like, who has time for that, really?
But at least this way you kind of, depending how you take it, you can now formulate that into motivation. And you already acknowledge that I need to work on legs. That's my struggle area. So when someone else points it out, it's, you know what I mean? To me, I looked at it as that's like, okay, that's a kick in the ass, where it's like, I know my issue, I know my struggle area, and somebody's telling me now my struggle area, so now let me go work on that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've been working on it for so long because it's always been. I've always known that was sort of my issue. I'll never have big calves. I mean, I just won't. And I'll never have gigantic legs. But you know what? That's okay. It's just me. I gotta accept it, and I'll work on it the best I can. But genetics, to some extent, there's some limitations, I think. But we'll see.
I guess in a roundabout way, I kind of was acknowledging that too, because again, we were speaking a little bit off air, and I was complimenting on how your upper body was so good. And I'm thinking now, in retrospect, you telling me that your lower is part of your struggle area. I'm thinking, wow, she's probably took that as great. He noticed that I work on my upper, and that's what I love. But But
and it's funny. I love doing upper body training because I can see, the definition more. It's like, it's motivating when you're working out and you can see, the muscle, or, you can see more definition. And, especially, when you train legs, I mean, I'm always in pants, so you really can't see the muscle working. I train legs more than I train upper body, but, it's hard because I'm motivated to improve. But at the same time, when improvement is happening so slowly, it can be a little bit difficult too. But, that's why I started focusing more on, I have a coach who is a power lifter, so I've been focusing more on lifting really heavy and setting more goals that are performance-based rather than necessarily seeing the change. And then that became a little bit more exciting, to see how much I could deadlift or how much I could squat, or leg press or whatever I was doing, and trying to increase my volume and seeing the changes happening. And I have improved by focusing more on my performance rather than seeing the changes happening necessarily.
Well, we threw a bunch of photos on mixedmasterv.com so people can look on there and probably disagree with everything you're saying, because I probably think, like, again, you looked flawless. But what do you like to do in your downtime? I mean, you train, and I mean, you're a mother. Do you really have much downtime? And what do you enjoy doing other than focusing on fitness?
I don't have that much downtime, and I'm running around with kids all the time. But, I have an art background, so, whenever I can, I like to do things that are more creative. That's not very often. But recently, my husband and I started playing golf a little bit, so I'm doing that now. And, I do really love to work out, and we hang out with friends all the time. So socially, we do a lot socially, so that can also, the whole flexible dieting thing helps there a lot because, if we're out with friends and I can do more things and I'm not always feeling so restricted. So, I just like to be social and do something creative, and I like doing all my workouts. I really like working hard. A lot of times I'll be out doing something fun or whatever, we're out, and all I'm thinking about is going to the gym or, working on my books or something like that. So I think, I really like to stay busy. So
it can be awkward if you're going to like a carnival and the people you're hanging out with want to eat like a corn dog or something, and you're like flipping through pages. No, it's not part of the dieting. So it's cool that you can balance it where, like you're saying, you can have certain things at certain times. It's all about proportions, I would guess, right?
Yeah, portions and, fitting it in. So, like, if I wanted to have a corn dog, I would go online and try to find, like, the, nutrition data for a corn dog. So I'm estimating, because I don't know. There's got to be. I'm sure. I don't know what it is offhand, but I would go ahead and I would estimate that, and I would put it into my little tracker that I use online, which makes it really easy. And, when I go out of town, if I'm on vacation or whatever, I don't always track, but I've been calculating everything for so long that I kind of know. So, my meal sizes will be about the same. So I'm okay, for breakfast I'm going to kind of eat this, or for lunch I'm going to kind of eat something about this size. And I'm really good at estimating. Like, I'll test myself at home. I'll grab a piece of chicken. I'm like, that looks like 4.2 ounces. And I'm like, exact. So, the longer you do it, the easier it gets. And you don't necessarily have to, like, sit there and write everything down all the time. But it starts to become just, mindfulness when you're eating and not getting out of control and kind of knowing. Or, like, if I'm going to go to a party, or it's like Thanksgiving or something, and I'm going to be eating a big meal, I'll kind of, like, watch the rest of my day and make it really, really good so that I know I can indulge a little bit and I'm not going to go over for the total calories for the day. So it just makes it so much easier. I have all these clients who are competing, and they have started utilizing this approach even on their contest diet, and they're like, gosh, it's not even that hard, so it just makes it so much easier. Mentally, physically, you're getting all your vitamins from trying new foods and stuff like that, and you're not feeling restricted. So, after the show, you're not going out and binging and gaining a ton of weight either. So
ultimately what it sounds like is, as long as you have the willpower and a commitment and the desire to want to get in better shape, then there's ways of going about it so that it's not a struggle. There's, everybody has a different course, and everybody can, go at their own pace, but you have to want to do it.
Yeah, you have to want to, but you know what? You can set up something for yourself that makes it easy. It doesn't have to be this hard, difficult thing. Like, you have to exercise all this willpower in order to make it work for you. The best thing and the way to make it work is to set up your environment so that you can make your goals as easy to achieve as possible. So, like, a lot of times I'm super busy and I don't have time to go to the gym. So I have a little thing set up at home, and I can do my whole workout at home if I have to. That way I can work out in my pajamas. I don't have to put makeup on. I can run outside really quick, get my workout done, come back in. I've cut out all the driving time. Just set up something so that you know that you can make it work. If you're having to struggle and exercise willpower all the time, you're going to fail at some point. When you're too tired, you're going to make an excuse to not do it. So you have to figure out a way that makes it easy.
And I say that all the time about having my own studio in my house doing podcasting. I can just roll out of bed and just do it.
Right. And nobody can see you, so yeah, you don't have to brush your teeth or anything.
Nobody wants to see me anyway. That's why we do the audio aspect of it. But speaking of seeing people, where can people see more of you? I know you do social media and you have a website, so go ahead and plug that and let everybody know where they can find out more about you.
My website is Alissa, Alissa, Parker.net, and all of my social media is connected to that. And then my books, the posing books right now, are on Amazon. So you can find those. It's The Art of Posing and Stage Presentation, and I have the bikini edition and the figure edition, so those are on there. And then I also have a bunch of Facebooks. Everything's on the website, but I have my Fit Starts in the Kitchen Instagram and Facebook page also. And the book should be out soon. I'm getting just the last little things together. And then I even have actually a second edition of the cookbook that I'm already working on. So once I get one out, I think the second one will be out pretty quickly. So just a ton of recipes, and I also put recipes on my website. So if you go to the news page on my website, you can find some of the recipes that either from my book or stuff that I'm making. And on my Instagram, I'm constantly posting what I'm eating. So you can kind of see the meals that I'm eating on a regular basis too.
So you can check out her on Instagram and get hungry. I'm looking through her pictures and I'm going, wow, that looks really amazing. I want some of that right now. And you can figure out how to make that through her cookbook. So
Right. And most, I post a lot of healthy recipes. I know a lot of people are constantly posting like the food porn, like, dessert stuff. And, I really do eat healthy for the most part, but I'll definitely indulge from time to time. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception about the whole flexible dieting thing is that you're eating junk food all the time. And it's really not. You can fit it in. That's the key.
Well, we appreciate you talking to us a little bit and kind of breaking it down what being healthy and fitness and well-being, it's not so much a death sentence where you have to, conform to a certain type of way. Make sure you go and get her new book that's going to be coming out real soon. Follow her on Instagram, follow her on Twitter, follow her on her website and her Facebook pages, and just follow her everywhere. We really appreciate you talking to us a little bit, and we hope to see big things when a book comes out. And yeah, we love to do a contest. We'll think of some kind of way to wrap in fitness somehow, and we'll do a giveaway with one of the books.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love that.
Well, we really appreciate it, and we hope to hear more things from you soon.
Thanks so much for having me.
Not a problem. Take care.
You too. Hi, this is Alissa Parker, IFBB Pro, and you're listening to Mixmaster B on MMB Radio.